Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Barry, That Goat Metal Show. On today, Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, the day after the 5-0 of the Goatmaster. Hope everybody's doing good, man. I want to thank everybody again who came up on the stream the day before, who popped out in the comments on the video I made, drive and talk going to my mom's. I thought that was really cool. I was thinking about doing a drive and talk today, but I said, you know what, let me just do it like over here. It's fucking hot out there, and I just wanted to try to get some of this out of the way. It was something that came up, plus some quick news that I just heard. I got a text message from Alan. Alan is the brother of our former guitarist Milton, who was killed 20 years ago. Basically, I know you guys saw the video that I made about that piece of shit that wanted to go and try to cut his sentence short from life to, trying to get out because of whatever. Well, we got good news. He was denied. Bastard was denied, and that's it. Fuck him. That's all I gotta say. Right? Fuck him, and that's it. Alan was very happy with the responses that he was getting from people. I guess a lot of the letters and emails we sent came in, and basically he was denied. So to hell with him. All right. So I wanted to just get into something real quick. I thought it would be cool to do a little video about considering the fact that I just turned 50, and just a quick basic, maybe a small timeline of from when I was a small kid, all the way to adulthood, getting into music. And I did mention something about the different genres of music that I was into when I was growing up. But I guess I wanted to get more in depth about it. So just to basically have people have an understanding of what I was going through as a kid, what I was exposed to, listening, so on and so forth. So let me just start off with basically, most times, I mean, people who could say that they can remember certain things as a kid, I think the age, well, maybe for me, because I don't think I can remember anything before 3 years old. I can remember something from the time where I was 3. The reason why I can remember 3 years old, maybe 3 going on to 4, between that time frame, is because I remember seeing Star Wars when it first came out. Star Wars came out in '77. So I remember Star Wars. I remember going to the movies. That my exposure to Star Wars was engulfed in me. All right, so that was something that I could say that always stood in my brain. Me seeing Star Wars when it came out in '77. So I can remember a lot of little things. Enjoying Star Wars, wanting the action figures, so on. Now, as far as music goes, '77 was great time, man. I mean, we had Saturday Night Fever, we had the Bee Gees, we had Donna Summer, Marvin Gaye, we had Heart, Barracuda, it was the Commodores, just to name a few of some of the groups that were being played. And my mom and dad, even though they were into a lot of the oldies and the old doo-wop stuff from the 50s and the 60s, they were engulfed in the 70s. So it's like a lot of the 70s music they were into, and they were, of course I was getting fed a lot of that music as well. And growing up, parties, so on and so forth. So, those were great times listening to, a lot of the music stays with you. It was, you remember it, and growing up, you tend to enjoy it as much, a lot too. Then when we get to like 1980, all right, 1980, I was about 6 years old. And I remember Blondie, Michael Jackson was already getting big in 1980. That was before Thriller, so he was getting big. And Queen, Queen was already, even though Queen was already had an establishment in the 70s, but Queen was still rising up, and they were playing a lot of their music on the radio and stuff like that. It was Kool and the Gang, all right, and Pat Benatar. Oh man, Pat Benatar was great, man. I always thought of Pat Benatar as like, she was like just a hard ass, hey, that was Pat Benatar, Then we go into, I'll just fast forward to 86, between like 86 and 87. Okay, and I think during that time frame was my evolution into getting more and more into like harder stuff, and maybe more rock, more so I think, like I said, I always had a gateway, and I tend to mention the Lost Boys soundtrack. Lost Boys soundtrack is a great fucking soundtrack, by the way, but it was one of the gateway soundtracks and movies itself too, because movies tend to give you both worlds. Okay, who remembers Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, with Dawkins' song, The Dream Warriors? That fucking song, I remember they used to be the movie theater near my way. They used to show the trailers. They had this little box where they showed the trailers, and it would actually show the whole fucking music video of Dawkins' The Dream Warriors. I didn't have MTV or any of that shit at that time. I used to go run over there, and I used to stand in front of that place and just watch those like nothing. I love that fucking video. It was a great video. And who could forget the Transformers? Transformers had a great soundtrack too. It was very 80s. Like I would say more like it was 80s pop, pop rock, but it gave you that insight as well. And then let's not forget Trick or Treat. Man, that was a fucking fantastic movie, and that was as metal as fuck. When it came to what was going on with that guy, and you had Gene Simmons, Ozzy pop up in there. That was another gateway movie to metal, and what I was going through with with the soundtrack. And who remembers The Gate? All right, The Gate was another movie which was that was with Steven Dorff. He was young. He was about 12 years old at the time, I think, when he made that movie. And I remember his buddy, the next door neighbor, that was a metalhead, and he, that was another thing. A lot of imagery and music that catapulted me. That was one of the things that started catapulting me as well, and I was really, really enjoying it. So then, of course, it was that fateful day of going to a carnival near my house, and they had some stupid dart game where you paid $1 and you threw the dart at the poster you want. I don't know what was the point. I could have just gave them the dart. I said, give me that, but they want to make it difficult for you. So I remember getting Eddie's. Eddie's. I said it was Iron Maiden's "Stranger in the Strangeland" poster. Eddie with the trench coat, the hat, lighting the cigar in that little bar. And I thought it was cool as fuck. I didn't know who made it was. I had no clue. I was big. I'm a big time comic book nerd. So I was like, I thought it was a comic book character. I didn't realize it. I put the poster up in my wall, and had a friend of mine came in, my next door neighbor. He came into my room, and he's like, "Oh shit, man, you into metal?" And I was like, "No, I didn't think of myself into metal. I was into other things, but never like into metal." And he told me that was a metal band. Iron Maiden was a metal band. I said, "Oh shit, really? Fucking Maiden? That's a metal band?" I said, "How they sound?" He says, "Yeah, I'm not into metal." That guy wasn't really into metal, but he knew who Maiden was. So I made my due diligence, spoke to my friend Georgie and his sister Wanda, who lived right across the street from me, and I knew they were metalheads. I knew they were metalheads, but I wasn't really much of an interest. And when I told them about hey, I would like to listen to some Maiden, this, that, and the other. First thing they did, they let me hear the Live After Death album from Maiden, and I heard it. I was hooked. That was it. He made me a tape, gave me Live After Death. He exposed me to Kings of Metal from Manowar, At War with Satan from Venom, Leprosy from Death, Leave Scars from fucking Dark from Dark Angel, Hell Awaits from Slayer. Then as time started going by, then it was slowly we rocked from Obituary. Blew my fucking mind. He also chose Carnivore, Retaliation, and then as the music started blending in more and more, I got into Sick of It All. That's when Georgie did introduce me to Sick of It All. That's when I bought the tape, and like I said, that was my first purchase. I was exposed to hardcore through Sub-Zero, but Sick of It All was my first purchase, and that's when my love for hardcore kicked in. But yeah, man. I mean, of course, you dabble. And it was Metallica, Anthrax, everything else in between, that started just flowing with that. And then of course, you know, being into the music and enjoying it, I wanted to play music. Picked up my bass, picked up a bass. My dad, you know, rest his soul, bought me my first bass. It was, you know, a little Angus Young looking, you know, replica bass, and a fucking little, you know, bass to play, you know, a little amp to play through. I think he spent like about $75 on it, which I was so fucking grateful. I didn't care. I just had a bass, and started playing, and, you know, learning by ear, and, you know, picking things up, writing music. And that was my, you know, my thing of trying to get set up a band and get the band going. And I you know, was hanging out with a friend of mine who mentioned Goatmasters, but it sounded like Goatmasters, and that name stuck with me. I would write it down. I just already had the name set up, how I wanted the band, what I wanted the band to sound like. You know, at first we wanted to be like evil as fuck, you know, but being exposed to hardcore and death metal, that's when I went and started hanging out with my drummer Frankie. We started jamming, and that's where the sound pretty much started coming from, because of those loves of both death metal and hardcore. And from that's where deathcore came out. That's where it mutated from that point. And you know, Goatmasters was born in August of '93, and you know, from there on, you know, just we played, we did we played shows, we did the recordings. You know, I don't have to go into too much about Goatmasters. You guys are pretty much well versed, I hope. But then we had that, you know, that time in the, you know, the 2000, when we, you know, 2007, right, 2007, 2008, where, you know, we pretty much, you know, life was kicking in really good with, you know, as far as families and jobs, and, you know, there was like really no time for anything, and we had to like call it a day. You know, we had to call it a day, and it hurt. It really hurt, you know, to do that. But you know, lives take over, man, and that's just the thing. So there was a couple of attempts in between, you know, a few rehearsals, you know, just getting together, jam. Nothing really came away. COVID, right before COVID, we were going to try to do something. We had 2 rehearsals. COVID came and shut that down. And of course, you know, you already know that my man Jason from Def Farm, just 2023, you know, brought us. I think it was that kind of gave us that motivation to come back, and everything is the way it is today. So yeah, it's been a great journey, man. You know, hopefully you can put this as like the archives of Barry's life in between, you know, as far as music goes. And of course, again, you know, I have a love for music, all types. You know, I could dig some classical music. I could dig some country. You know, I remember when I took that trip to Arizona. You know, you put the radio station on. It's usually just country or Tex-Mex, pretty much. My wife didn't mind the Tex-Mex stuff too much, but I was playing some country, and she was like, you know, she wasn't feeling it, but I enjoy it. I enjoy some good country. I really do. I think it's cool, you know, and that's it, man. You know, that was my thing. Look, this video pretty much went 13. It was already going on past 13 minutes. You know, just me ranting about myself, which you know, making me feel like a fucking narcissist. But yeah, I just wanted to just get. It was just something that I had in my head. I said, you know, it was a couple of little things that, you know, I guess maybe this has to do more with the fact of just getting older. You start reflecting on your life, looking back, looking at things that were good, that were bad, things that you went through, things you didn't want to go through. And hey, man, look, I just, you know, I went, you know, my dad died at a young age. I was able to live past the age that he died. And, you know, that was one thing he always wanted us to just live on and just keep pushing his legacy as well. And that's what it's all about. When it comes to the music, guys, just keep on, man. Stay with it. Look, you know, life, look, when it comes to things in life, don't ever think that you can't go back to the music. And that's just been the greatest thing for me right now, is that at one point I didn't think I would ever get back to music, and it's been great. It's been great. It's been fun. Can't wait for the show on the 20th, and I can't wait for you guys to see it live. See the live footage. All right, Scar over there likes the shit too. I'm sure everybody sees Scar. He's just sees like that white thing just hanging out over there. Oh man. But again, guys, thanks a lot. And also, I want to give a nice little shout out to my man Skyer. He put out a really fucking awesome ass interview with one of the members from Pentagram, man. Fucking living legends, guys. That's phenomenal. Gave me a nice little shout out in the mix there. He's over here talking to him about my style of music. I could just, the guy's sitting there smoking a cigarette like, deathcore, what the fuck is that? Like, but I thought it was cool, man. Skyer, man, thank you, brother. I fucking appreciated that, man. That was awesome. He's up 95 subs, man. Yo, guys, please make sure you go and sub to his channel, man. Get him to 100. All right, man. Get that man going, man. He's doing, his interviews are becoming better and better and better and better, and you can see the confidence in him when he's doing his videos, man. A lot of props to you, Sky. Keep it going, brother. Keep it going. All right, but that's pretty much it. I'm fucking going way off. I should have just did a live stream. I don't keep talking nonsense, right? All right, guys. We got some shit coming up. Make sure you stay tuned. And to all my people who's been there, man, I want to thank you again for enjoying the content, liking, sharing, subscribing. And let's just keep this thing going. All right, let's just keep metal going. How about that? All right, let's just keep metal going. All right, that's all. I'm gonna sign off. This is Barry, that Goat Metal Show. Stay brutal.